Welcome to episode 3 of the Roots of Reuse. I'm Jamia here at Arts Garage LA, and today we're going to be making what I call eco flowers, something that I've done in my own art practice. And when I think of eco art and what that means, I think about art that is of the earth. It's about the earth in mind and in heart, and it's either utilizing earth materials, natural materials, such as the artwork of Andy Goldsworthy, one of my favorites, utilizing what nature provides, or it's utilizing materials that could potentially harm the earth. In our case, we're going to be using those, and we're going to use all kinds of stuff that you find around, and we're going to talk about sourcing your own materials, something that's part of the creative process and my creative process, and I'm hopefully going to inspire you to go about this in your own way, but I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks that I use when I create these eco flowers. So, come on. Sourcing your materials is something that I talk about with my students at the elementary school in which I teach art. And when you're thinking about what kinds of materials and supplies you can use for art projects, these recyclables and waste materials are great. They're everywhere. You know, anytime something comes through your home, you're buying food, it comes in some kind of container. So those are potential things that can be saved and put aside for later use. For example, I will save these twisty ties. I have this container full of twist ties from like bread bags and different produce that I get. And these really come in handy because they're wire, so they can be of use to connect things, but they're also a great color, so they can be a decorative element as well. And I love strawberries. They're my favorite fruit. So I always save these strawberry baskets. So for so long, I was thinking, what can I do with these? And then I had this great aha moment where I came up with using them to create this flower head. So like I've done it here on this eco flower, and I sort of use it as a weaving loom. And I wove plarn into the strawberry basket. I did the same thing over here on this one. A daisy is probably my favorite flower of all, so I was inspired by that. And I just wove in something that was like, I'm not sure what the stuff is called, but it's trash, basically. So you can think about, what can I save from the trash to use in my work? So I think that my art practice is a lot about just exploring materials and playing with materials. I came to this realization recently with my students, and I said, these are like my toys. I'm a grown-up now, you know, but I'm still a kid at heart, as we all are. But these are toys to me, all of these art materials. So what do you like? What are your toys? You know, you go to what you're drawn to, like, ooh, here's a fun one, bubble wrap, and it comes in pink. You know, some of these things are great colors, like pink plastic bag. I found plastic bags in so many colors. And people start to give them to you once they figure out that you are an artist and you are using these things. I am going to kind of share with you this style of eco flower that I've done using the strawberry basket. So I take this basket and I kind of examine it. And I look at the shapes and the sizes, and I think, okay, if I were to weave into this, how big of a strip would I need? Strips are really good. There's strips in the plarn that we've made from episode 1, but I'm gonna use these handles from this Forever 21 bag, and I'm gonna see if I can get these strips to fit into this size that I need. So I'm gonna use my rotary cutter. So now I can just kind of go in, use my hands from the other side to poke under, and just go over and under. gonna cut this there because this size is a little different, so I might end up doing something different there. But then I can kind of go opposite. So if that is under right there, I'm gonna go over, under. But either way would work. Whatever you can do to get it to stay put, do that. Now this is that little, looks like that little recycling symbol getting in my way there, which is kind of reminiscent of a conversation about recycling in general and how much of that is truly done in this world, you know, and I think that there's been a lot of conversation about that and movies and documentaries about it. I'm not convinced that recycling is as effective as it could be. So I think that my work kind of speaks to that, and kind of I'm trying to make people stop and think about these materials and giving them another look and having a different mindset about consumption. So then I could kind of just keep going along the sides, and I might give this another thickness of the cut, a little wider, because those holes on the side of the basket are a bit different. That looks pretty good. Okay, so this is kind of like a good center of the flower. So now I want to create some petals. So I can make some plarn, which I have some plarn somewhere around here. Ooh, here's some. It's everywhere. It's all around me. So maybe I'll use some of this pink. So what I'm going to show you is this technique that's really served me well. It's come in handy for what I call plastic bag shag. I have artworks that I've done with that I can share with you later. But basically what it is, it's kind of like a slip knot technique in weaving. I believe it's called a raya knot. But basically you'll take a strip like this, put the ends together, fold it in half, and this loop, I want to put this loop through the hole there, or maybe I'll do this end. Actually, really quickly, I think I'm going to cut and make this a bit smaller. So I'm going to cut off one of these layers. Whoa. Gotta put my goggles on. Sometimes I have my goggles actually right next to me that I might be putting on pretty soon. Okay, so here I have my center. I'm gonna make the petals on the edge. So I'm gonna put the loop through the end, and then I'm going to basically keep that loop open and put these through the loop, pull it, and kind of tighten that and pull it a bit. And that is one way to do a petal. So now I can do that again, and I can do it all the way around. And maybe I even use some of this pink bubble wrap. So I fold it in half, put it through that hole. Here's my fingers, pass this along to these fingers through that hole, and then pull. This technique comes in handy. You can totally use that in your own way in other ways than I'm doing, but I thought that would be a fun one to show you. So again, put it through. But then I could just keep going and have this entire flower. And then what I can do, what I've often done is I utilize old wire hangers for a stem. This is when I wanted to get my goggles out actually, because this could potentially poke you in the eye. Oh man, I need my wire. I need my pliers. I don't have my pliers. Okay, I did it. Yes. So now I can attach, being very careful, And you could even use sunglasses if you don't have goggles. But basically, I could attach this in here and really make that secure, you know, as the top of the flower, as the stem of the flower. I've done it here on this one, and then I basically attached more of the strawberry basket, the ends. I wrapped with things like this, things like my twist ties, kind of wrapped so I had that green color. I would sort of stuff the bottom of this hanger, I kind of bunch it up and like stuff it into this jar, for example. I can use things like this to help attach. And also, you gotta work with it. You know, it's not gonna do the thing I'm trying to do in front of the camera when I'm under pressure immediately, but you know, you just have to play. And stuffing, sometimes I add sort of stuffing and it helps to keep it in place. My old bits of plarn. Here's one that was made with a spool of thread and a twist tie that I just tried to make stronger by wrapping other twist ties around it. This hanger is very strong on its own, but yeah, I added more to get that to stand up more. And I just examined different shapes that I found in the strawberry baskets. And I saw this one and I thought on its own, that would make a really cool leaf shape. Same thing with the center of this flower. I found the bottom of one of the baskets to have this very symmetrical design of radial symmetry, like I talk about with my students. So I cut that out and that became the center of that flower. That's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. And thank you for joining me on my creative process. It's a little wild at times, looks a little crazy at times, but that's the life of an artist. And I hope that you will join me in bringing art into your life, and maybe you'll utilize some materials like this as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of the Roots of Reuse. And next time I will be showing you how to make some sculpture out of plastic bottles and other things. So I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much. And please, if you're curious about more of my work with these materials, you can always check out my website at jamiaweir.com. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe below.